Elon Musk stood tall in the federal courtroom, his sharp suit contrasting with the wood-paneled walls. Just moments earlier, Judge Edward Chen declared, "Mr. Musk's accusations are baseless and borderline contemptuous," sending a wave of tension through the room. Reporters leaned in. Lawyers shuffled papers, but Musk didn't flinch. Armed with a black folder and months of secret investigation, the billionaire was ready to strike back. Judge Chen, a respected Obama appointee with a long record of ruling against tech giants, believed he had finally cornered Musk. But what no one knew was that Musk had spent 6 months digging into the judge's past, and what he found could shake the entire judicial system. This wasn't just a hearing, it was a reckoning. Before we dive in, comment where you're watching from, and subscribe for more explosive updates. Just before the hearing, Musk's attorney had warned, "Once you go down this road, there's no turning back." Musk simply nodded, tapping the black leather folder. Sometimes the only way out is through. The courtroom was unusually packed. Tesla shareholders, tech journalists, and even political figures like Senator Josh Hawley and Congresswoman Katie Porter sat watching closely. The plaintiff's attorney, Gregory Stevens, stood confidently, declaring Mr. Musk's statements weren't just misleading, they were deliberately fraudulent. Judge Chen, clearly skeptical, turned to Musk. "Your response? Though based on your previous arguments, I doubt you have anything new to offer." The crowd smirked. But as Musk rose, that familiar look returned, the same one he wore when defying experts about rockets or batteries. "Before I address their motion," Musk began calmly, "there's a deeper issue, one that questions the integrity of this." Entire proceeding, the courtroom went still. Judge Chen leaned forward, irritated. "Mr. Musk, this is not the time for theatrics." Musk opened the folder. "No, Your Honor. This is the time for truth." Musk interrupted, rare in a federal courtroom. "What I'm about to present concerns judicial bias and overrides all else," he said firmly. The courtroom fell silent. The plaintiff's attorney shot up. "Objection." Just Chen quickly responded. "Sustained. Mr. Musk, I'm warning you." But Musk had already acted. His lawyer, Alex Spiro, handed a sealed envelope to the court clerk as others distributed copies. "I filed a motion for your recusal," Musk said, supported by evidence of clear bias and ethical violations. Gasps echoed as security stepped forward. Judge Chen slammed his gavel. "Order. This is dangerous ground," Musk held up a document. "6 months ago, we began noticing patterns in your rulings. Our legal investigation found that Granger Holdings invested in my competitors and shorting. Tesla paid $17.3 million to Westlake Partners between 2018 and 2023. The courtroom's tension snapped into full alert. A Wall Street Journal reporter typed rapidly as Musk continued. "What makes this notable is that Westlake Partners' recipient of $17.3 million from Tesla's competitors is run by your brother-in-law, James Liu. Financial records show you and your wife are silent investors." The courtroom exploded. Judge Chen's gavel cracked as he shouted for order, but Musk pressed on. "We also uncovered emails between your former clerk and the plaintiff's law firm years before this case began plotting. And I quote, to bring Musk down, assuming it would land on your docket." Shouts, objections, and camera phones flooded the air. Musk held up photos next. "Last year, you attended a private Aspen conference funded by Tesla's rivals. You gave a talk titled, 'Reigning in Disruptive Tech Monopolies,' mentioning Tesla 18 times, then joined a closed-door meeting with the very lawyers now before you." Judge Chen, visibly shaken, stood abruptly. "This court is in recess, counsel and chambers now." Reporters bolted. Lawyers scrambled. Musk stood firm, black folder still open. His lawyer whispered. The sec just walked in. "This is about to get much bigger." Musk gave a subtle nod and quietly released all documents to DOJ contacts. Outside, a growing crowd formed as news of the courtroom clash exploded online. Within 20 minutes, Tesla stock surged 7%, while shares tied to Judge Chen's brother-in-law tanked. CNN's legal analyst declared it one of the biggest judicial scandals in modern history. Inside, a clerk handed Musk a note from a DOJ official. We've opened a formal investigation. 4 hours later, courtroom 12B reopened, now packed, with DOJ reps and judicial ethics officials. At 3:30 p.m., instead of Judge Chen, Chief Judge Susan Ilston entered, signaling the gravity of the situation. Judge Chen has recused himself from all cases involving Mr. Musk, she announced, prompting a collective gasp. A full investigation is now underway. Across the room, the plaintiff's lawyer, once confident, sat stiff and silent. Tone had shifted. This was no longer just a trial, it was a reckoning. Mr. Stevens, Judge Ilston cut in. The Ethics Committee has reviewed Mr. Musk's evidence and found it credible enough to warrant a full investigation. Your objection is noted, but not up for debate. Stevens sank back his courtroom. Sketch artists captured his slumped posture. Turning to Musk, the judge continued, while your method was unorthodox, the seriousness of your claims overrides procedural concerns. She held up a sealed document. Your materials have been forwarded to the DOJ's Public Integrity Section. A formal investigation is now underway not just into Judge Chan's finances, but into what appears to be a broader effort to manipulate the judicial system. All eyes turned to Musk. Thank you, Your Honor, he said, placing a chart. On the projector screen, this goes beyond one case. We've uncovered a coordinated $240 million network of short sellers and rival firms, funding strategic lawsuits against Tesla and my other companies. The screen shifted to show emails, bank records, and recruitment messages linking Chen's former law clerk to the plaintiff's firm. He was brought in specifically to exploit the judge's known leanings, Musk explained. Judge Ilston leaned in, visibly concerned. These aren't just ethics issues. You're describing a conspiracy. Precisely, Your Honor, Musk replied. Top of form, bottom of form. This isn't about one judge or one case, Musk said. It's about a system being used to manipulate markets and crush competition. On screen, the final evidence played. A hedge fund manager caught on tape boasting they had Chen in our pocket, plotting to crash Tesla's stock through court rulings. The courtroom froze. Even veteran reporters were stunned. At the plaintiff's table, attorneys whispered and scrambled on phones. Judge Ilston removed her glasses and sighed. Given this evidence, the court is dismissing the case without prejudice pending criminal investigations. She turned to the DOJ reps. I request this probe be expanded to include all involved parties. A DOJ official stood. It's already happening. Your Honor, warrants are being served as we speak. As if on cue, FBI agents entered. Gregory Stevens, we have a warrant for all electronic devices and documents in your possession, Stevens protested, but agents showed the warrant. Similar searches are underway at your offices and Granger Holdings HQ, they said, escorting him out. Judge Ilston gave a final ruling. All related proceedings stayed. Court to reconvene in 2 weeks. As she exited, all eyes turned to Musk, who calmly closed his folder and nodded to DOJ officials. Outside, crowds cheered while federal agents led the plaintiff's team to waiting cars. Cameras flashed, reporters swarmed. Musk raised a hand, silencing them with quiet authority. Today wasn't about winning a case, he said. This wasn't just about Tesla, Musk said, his voice echoing across the plaza. It was about exposing corruption threatening our entire judicial system. We could have settled, made deals. Instead, we brought it all into the light. Facing the cameras, he added, sunlight is the best disinfectant. The fallout, quickly dubbed the Chen scandal, spread fast. Within 48 hours, Tesla stock soared 23%. While shares in firms tied to the exposed short-selling network tanked, Granger Holdings dropped 41% before trading was halted. This is unprecedented, shouted CNBC's Jim Cramer. It could be the biggest market manipulation plot ever uncovered. Hashtags like hashtag MuskJustice and hashtag JudgeGate trended worldwide. Even Musk's critics acknowledged the scale. On Capitol Hill, bipartisan outrage followed. Senators Warren and Hawley announced a congressional investigation. If this can happen to Musk, Hawley warned, imagine what happens to everyday Americans. The DOJ widened its probe, raiding 14 locations across 7 states. issuing subpoenas to hedge fund managers, and suspending 2 more federal judges tied to suspicious financial ties. Attorney General Merrick Garland formed a task force stating, "The initial evidence points to systemic corruption beyond one judge or one courtroom. We'll follow this investigation wherever it leads, regardless of power or influence," DOJ officials stated, as fallout from Musk's courtroom revelations spread nationwide. In Silicon Valley, even rivals like Jeff Bezos voiced support, tweeting different approaches, same enemies, respect. 8 days later, Musk broke his silence in a viral podcast interview with Kara Swisher, revealing how data patterns and financial links between rulings and hedge funds led him to uncover a systemic judicial conflict. When asked why he didn't go through official channels, Musk said, "We tried, complaints vanished, reviews closed without action. The oversight system itself was compromised." The interview drew 18 million listeners in 24 hours, and a Gallup poll showed 78% public approval. 2 weeks later, the class action against Tesla collapsed. The plaintiff's law firm withdrew after arrests. The DOJ indicted 17 individuals, including Chen's brother-in-law and law firm executives. Though Judge Chen wasn't charged, he retired, reportedly cooperating with investigators. In response, Chief Justice John Roberts announced a Supreme Court commission to reform judicial ethics and financial disclosures nationwide, top of form bottom. "Affirm the integrity of our courts is non-negotiable." Musk's final statement read, calling for a nationwide revaluation of judicial independence from financial influence. With the class action lawsuit against Tesla dead and the judicial corruption exposed, Musk used a tech conference in Austin to reflect. This wasn't just about Tesla, it was about whether our institutions can resist being quietly bought. His words echoed across media, sparked action. Judicial watchdogs saw a 400% spike in conflict of interest tips. Congress fast-tracked financial disclosure reforms, and corporate leaders began reassessing their own legal vulnerabilities. What started as Musk's courtroom clash became a national reckoning on corruption in the justice system.